Where have I been? So this has been, I think, the first video in like, I don't know, 4 months, and especially doing front facing because I was trying to do, but not behind the camera, mostly editing work. But to answer that question, I've been up to some stuff. So for the past 2 months, not June. Yeah, so in March and April, I actually went to Japan for a short trip. Originally, it was going to be a 6 month working holiday. Didn't end up being that. I soon realized that my Japanese speaking abilities weren't up to scratch. However, from it, I did realize, well, time to make it into a holiday. And for most of that holiday was spent video editing, walking around a lot, sightseeing. Not the atypical tourist stuff. I didn't go to Disneyland. But from that trip, I did meet some amazing people, shared some life experiences, and you got to hang out with them. So that was what I was doing for the past 2 months. But my last video, maybe like 4 months ago, I've been working at a electronics retail store. Again, I probably name dropped it in my website, but I've been mainly doing sales during the Christmas period, and it's great, fantastic, some fantastic benefits and learning experience doing more sales, especially high volume sales. And now, currently, I am still in the job market, but it looks like I might be working for a car dealership. I know the car salesman. What's the word? Car salesman. What's the not taboo? I forget the concept. Basically, oh, you've got that car salesman label on you for life, but to hell with it. So this is my first recording, trying to get back into recording videos and looking into the camera because I don't really want to be focusing on video editing. Actually, if you've also noticed for the past couple of months, I've been uploading consistently 5 shorts every week from Monday to Friday or Sunday to Thursday, depending on the time zone difference. Because when I was doing it over in Japan, and obviously here in Australia, there's like a 3 hour, either 3 hour or 1 hour difference. No, actually 2 hour difference. Look at me, we go with numbers. With the timing, so in Australia, it would have happened the day before rather than on the day that I actually wanted it because I wanted to do it from Monday to Friday. Give you a chance for the weekend to do more videos. And I haven't had a chance to do more edits since I've come back to Australia, which has been 3 weeks now. I think because it's been mainly list of priorities. So prioritizing actually getting a job or getting my job back or getting another job and being more career focused. Because the other thing with going traveling for 2 months, I don't feel as I need to go on another adventure like to another country. America is something I have in my sights, but I'm mainly wanting. It's funny because quite recently when I got back to Australia, I started watching Jordan Shanks. If he's a self-improvement YouTuber, more known for his other channel, Friendly Geordies. You might probably know him as much as he doesn't like to be known as the guy who got firebombed by organized crime gangs, also trying to cover New South Wales corruption, especially including the gambling lobbies and the local in the government, state government. But he has a self-improvement channel and he basically does all these rants in front of the camera. Basically the same thing I'm doing. And he's sort of built a YouTube empire off the back of that. And in terms of content, I want to give value. I created an article like 3 months ago, writing that I'd stopped. I don't want to talk to my younger self because there was this framing where I would talk to the camera as if I was talking to my younger self about advice. To some extent, like, why do you have to teach a lesson to your younger self that if the goal is improving yourself? Because improvements in oneself is one's own journey. I suppose it's like, should I be helping you? I can give advice, but again, advice tailored to specific scenarios and life circumstances. I'm still trying to figure it out in my own way. So I can't be the authority or the judge of what is a good life decision or not. What I could talk to is actually myself, my present self, because there's this piece can't remember, maybe from Chris Williamson. It's the advice that you need to hear the most is the one you've already heard. Essentially, we've already heard what we need to do. It's just a matter of doing it. Actually, no, the advice that we give to others is the ones that we need to hear the most. And I think that rings very true. Very true. And back to going into sales. I can afford to go crisscrossing because I'm still 19. Maybe if you're crisscrossing, as in like switching careers in your 30s, it might be okay. I went from sales to marketing now, back to sales. Why am I doing that? Because ever since I came back to Australia and started applying to sales jobs, specifically even car sales jobs, let me adjust my earpiece. I've been getting more interviews. And to some extent, I did get interviews when I was going through that. Actually, probably one of the reasons why the idea of the Japan trip sparked, because I was going through job application after job application and then getting to a point where I was getting interviews, but I wasn't getting offers. In the case of sales, because I have that customer sales experience, both when I was out of high school, working at golf clubs, and then working at the electronics store for 7 months, it sort of given me enough skills and experience to go move up into bigger, better things. So I'm slowly coming to realize maybe I am good at sales. Well, how could I say that? If any of you want to stalk me, go look at my LinkedIn profile. I've done over $1 million worth of sales working at the electronics store. That's probably due to the fact that I do my best. And when you do your best, opportunities tend to present themselves. And one of those opportunities given by the store leader was working in the hi-fi department, which is the TVs department. And if you don't know, in electronics, usually the higher ticket items usually have larger commissions. And I worked there for a bit in the hi-fi department, and I was very grateful for that opportunity because, again, I was new straight out the back and did my best. So knowing that I'm getting more job offers with sales, I'm sort of putting marketing to the side. It's a side hustle. I still want to edit. I still want to create content. I still want to be talking to the camera and getting better at the skill, because sales is about communication. Well, sales is about, as Alex Hormozi likes to say it, a transfer of belief over a bridge of trust. And that's usually done through communication. And for me, communication was probably sparked by the love that I had from doing speeches when I was at school, in primary school, when I had the opportunities as vice captain, junior skill vice captain, and then creative arts captain, and senior year. And I'm not necessarily talking to a crowd of people. I'm talking to one camera, but it can be seen by multiple people. That's the nature of the internet. And getting better at communication will then help me with getting better at my job, which will then help. Getting better at my job will then help me with my communication. It's like a never-ending cycle of improvement, almost like Jacob's ladder in a sense. That Jordan Peterson. So originally, when I came out of high school, it's like, I need to go to sales and marketing. Then after 2 years, it was like, no, go straight to marketing. If I want to go into marketing, I'll just go for marketing. But then no job offers. And then now I'm getting plenty of job offers for sales. It's like, maybe I just do go down the path of sales, and I'm probably better for it. I think, especially, in Australia, marketing. I was talking to someone today. Actually, what is he? The regional manager of like a logistics company. Essentially, the barrier to entry for marketing has become lower due to the nature of the internet. Anyone with a phone can start marketing. And I think because of that barrier to entry so low, companies are looking for people with university degrees to go into marketing. And from everyone that I talk to, teachers, people with science degrees, engineering degrees, people that are more formally educated than me, they've been telling me that marketing does not require a degree. And I think the degree is only a signal, again, that you're able to sit there for 3 years, take lectures, do assessments, be on time and show up. And also that commitment for 3 years into a field such as marketing. What's the chance of you jumping ship? You've invested so much time into that. So an employer can look at you and go, look, he's not going to jump ship because he's already invested 3 years into it. Also, he's already invested student debt into his own formal education. He's probably going to be a good worker. And if you're someone who, like me, who's like going on a different path of like, I'm trying to not go to university, you're going to be, results don't lie. You have to produce the results. What's that saying? Confidence comes from competency. And then another piece of advice that Jordan Shanks gives that I think of is he's like, go read books about your field. And I come to realize that I've read a couple of books about sales in general, how to win friends and influence people, The Way of the Wolf, Fanatical Prospecting by James Blogue? James Blunt. I haven't read that in a while. But any book about psychology and communication and persuasion. Any marketing books? Not really. I've been doing mainly it by doing. And I think with the skill that you're wanting to do or the dream job you want to have, it's better to do, trial and error, experiment, and see where it goes. And then in some epiphany, it might be like, well, maybe I'm not cut out to be a marketer working for a company. Maybe I'm work better as an independent creator in my spare time. Who knows? Because I've seen success in sales, obviously by my track record. Also, part of that job was having 100% customer satisfaction, which is great. I'm just doing a good job in treating every customer the same, as in a customer who's buying a TV, the same as a customer just buying a USB-C cable. Yeah. But in terms of education, I have enrolled, essentially, there's a program, a government program by the Australian government. It's called Fee Free TAFE. So TAFE, training and further education. That's what it stands for. And it's sort of incentivizing specific courses that are meant to help with the Australian economy. So they're offering diploma certificates in fields in industries that are going to need more workers. And, being debt averse, I wanted to look at a diploma. Actually, it was after watching a Friendly Geordie's video about Fee Free TAFE that I actually looked at the TAFE website and go, oh, which course should I do? Because at that point, I only did like an online certification by the Digital Marketing Institute. Do I regret doing it? Yeah, it's just something on my resume that I can certify that I'm a certified digital marketer. Looked at all the diplomas, and then there were 2 diplomas in business because I'm very business centric. Leadership and project management. And I took the project management route just because it seemed like when you're very young, you want to be a generalist in a sense, like having a direction, but a generalist. Like the approach that I'm taking is the jobs that I'm taking, I have to consider what skills I'm going to gain and learn from the job. And I was actually discussing it with a friend. He was talking about the entry level fallacy. Essentially, in order to get a job, you need to get experience. But in order to get experience, you have to get a job. It's not fallacy, sorry. It's a catch-22. And to some extent, yes, it is a catch-22. But I think of... You're gonna really hate me for bringing up for this Jordan Shanks video where he gives advice about interviews. I think I did so well in my interviews because I treated the people there they were still above me, but I still treated them as the same in terms of sales. Like I told them my understanding of sales, which was done through many books, many training modules, doing it on the sales floor at the electronics store and just constantly consuming content about sales and business. I like to thank Alex Hormozi and anyone else that I haven't mentioned that I can't remember at the top of my head right now. That probably what helped me with the sales. Because if you're someone who's talking the same language as your employer or the person hiring you for the role, the kind of language that the role entails, they're more likely going to hire you. Even if you haven't had the experience. To some extent, I will say that the experience that I had at the electronics stores probably helped that I did land the role at the car dealership. But in saying that, I sort of set up myself up for success in that electronics because even though I was off the clock, I still consumed content, how to get better at sales, how to overcome objections, how to greet customers, how to communicate, body language, all of that, tonality, being aware of that and being highly acute to improving those slight adjustments. And that's a general skill. Sales is a general skill that can be transferred to any industry. And then being still a 19-year-old, I can sort of take these skills that I'm picking from each job and applying it to my belt, or choosing a skill such as sales and then just getting really good at that. Because with skills, you tend to want to combine it together, and you can see the combination come together when it comes to video marketing or content creation, because not only do I know how to conduct a sales process with a person, I can then learn in my spare time, learn how to create content that's more directed one-to-many, because marketing is one-to-many, whereas sales is one-to-one. That's my understanding of it, at least. So that's what I've been up to. And project management, that's another general skill, because managing a project that can be applied to applying a new product, applying new processes, even my own personal life, building houses, IT industry, anything. So unless you know the straight and narrow path that you want to go down on, there's no, well, again, Jordan Shanks had an advice of, in your 20s, stick to a path. Choose a path and stick to it. And I think if you had to ask me what path I'm going down, it's sales, obviously, or perhaps the functions of a business. So sales, marketing. Do I want to go down customer success? I'm not too sure. Because the skills that you develop in your 20s will help you create a launch pad when you're going into your 30s and 40s, because you spent the early years, those 10 years, getting really good at something that you can then offer to the marketplace. And you might be saying, why? And I said it in the interview that I landed the offer with the dealership. They asked, I kept on saying, I want to help people. I want to help people. And they asked, what does helping people mean? And I know, I'm almost, what's the word? Why do you want to go into sales? Obviously to make money, but money will be the byproduct. In order to make money, I said to them, you have to help people. And in order to help people, you have to learn skills. And sales is one of those skills. Because what is sales? It's helping a prospect get from point A to point B, which is their current state, over to having your product. Actually, no, not having your product. The product is the bridge that gets them to their dream state. And if you think of it like that, almost like a coach telling someone their current beliefs and almost helping them change their beliefs surrounding a product and helping them have a better life, you can see that's helping someone. And as the connotation of like sleazy salesman, again, don't be unethical. I always believe that a salesman can be ethical. Actually, salesmanship, that's actually a good question. Is salesmanship ethical in its nature? But that's a broader scope for another video or topic. If becoming wealthy is the goal, you have to help people. And in order to help people, you have to get really good at a skill and then offer that skill to help other people. Because what is value? Actually, what is money? Money is just the placeholder of value. The means of exchange of value. It's the middleman. So in your 20s, yeah, I'm very much going to be focusing on work, not living up my 20s. That's where I've been. Yeah.